We have what every other community in Canada or North America has, we just have more of. More cancers, more respiratory problems, more cardiovascular problems, we just have more of. And they, in quotations, say it's because we drink too much, smoke too much, party too much. It's all lifestyle, it's our fault. They don't take into account at all the fence line that surrounds us.
We have a lot of breathing problems, learning disabilities, behavioral problems, a lot of miscarriages.
You're not having an even division between the sexes among the children that are born.
And it's been called the first step to extinction because if we can't procreate with our own, and not to make it into a racial statement, but we're going to water down our race of people to the point to where the government's going to say that you're no longer Indians.
Yeah.
County birth rates are fine was the big bold headline in the paper when they released that study, trying to refute everything that we say, to make it an Indian problem. That's been their goal all the way along. It's an Indian problem. That way they can blow it off by saying it's lifestyle, and it's our own fault that what it is.
That's the issue. Was it a one-time thing? Was it a one specific incident that happened? Or is it a lifetime of all this building up in you, the cumulative effects things? Well, they know what each chemical does by itself, but they don't know what the mixture of the chemicals can do to anybody.
There's a new field in science called epigenetics. And in epigenetics, they've proven absolutely that it can skip a generation. So it could have been something that my father or my grandfather would have had, or my grandmother would have had, that skipped, and now it's in me. But there is nobody that I know of right now studying the impacts of Chemical Valley on Aamjiwnaang anymore that relates to our birth ratios.
Like there was an incident here. We were shelter in place. And our emergency response planner...
Explain what shelter in place means, please.
Oh, shelter in place, well, okay, so there's something happening in the valley. So you're supposed to go indoors, shut your doors, windows, and listen to the radio to hear what's going on.
This is a policy, a procedure that's just across the valley. This applies to everybody.
It goes across Canada, but they issue a shelter in place to a region, so it could be here, it could be over there.
Well, depending on which way the wind's blowing and which company, so they got a little map, and so they can see which way it's going to go. So what was my thought?
So they're basically saying there's toxic stuff going on.
We've had an incident.
Get out of here, right?
Well, no, they quit sending us away ever since we started this. We started complaining because a lot of the things, I guess, because if you go outside and you start the car, it could spark something, an explosion or something like that. So they say it's better for you to stay in instead of being exposed.
But now that you know, what if you don't have the financial resources to leave here and your children are impacted? You know that's eating at you. And you have to sit here when an alarm goes off and nothing follows it. There's nothing on the radio. We don't have television cameras here. We don't have TV stations here. The nearest station's in Windsor, London, or Detroit. So there's no
we do
coverage.
Have Channel 6, the Cogeco.
Yeah, we have a Cogeco channel.
But you gotta watch.
But the point of it is, we have to carry around the cancer inside of us, which is the fear. Living in fear every single freaking day. Do I let my kids go out and play? When they had the really big release in January, hydrogen sulfide, animals died. So little Sparky was on the front porch and she made sure to lock up the house, but nobody thought to bring Sparky in. You know what I mean? All of these things hold on you. My children were born with impacts from Chemical Valley. We did that to them.
You feel like a failure. As a parent, you do everything you can to protect your children. You do everything that you can to make sure that your children are safe. And when something like that happens, it's beyond your control and you feel like you've lost control. What if it had been a bigger spill? You think you're prepared, but really you're not. And I don't, honestly, it feels helpless. She had gotten the crusted eyes at that time, and her eyes were bloodshot for 3 days, and I had to take her to the doctor and make sure there were no infections. It's gonna cost too much, it's gonna cost too much. That's what you hear all the time, and I don't care. I don't care how much it costs you. That's my child's safety. They would too if their kids lived right here. There's a funny saying that my kids, they came up with. You see the smoke coming out over there.
Yeah.
Yeah, they used to think that those were cloud makers. I had to
cute, but
tell her
also-
no, that's not a cloud. That's pollution. That's bad stuff that we're breathing in. So they came up with their own saying, the more clouds in the sky, the more people will die. As a parent, that is heartbreaking that my kids think about where they live like that.